How you guys doing? Hi, Hobby. I'm glad you missed the morning by that much. Hey, Tony, Peter, wanted to mention about that $200 regulator from Perpetual. Isn't that a great watch? I know. It's sort of like it to me when I got it. It was like checking off the oh, it's sort of, like this is different kinds of things I like in watches. And I sell it, but it turned out to be really a cool watch. And the guy who makes them and sells them is also very cool. The guy in Hong Kong. So that was neat to see. Yeah, Alex is very cool. Hey, how you doing, Eric? Perfect watch for you is a Roger Dubuis Simplicity. Oh yeah, yeah, I like that too. Hi, Bruce. How you doing? Rancher? Excuse me. Hey, Junior. Zaffaron, how are you? Oh, man. Um, what I've been spending part of the afternoon doing is really trying to find out about the alternatives with certain kinds of materials that can be used. Hi, Hans. How are you? You're in mourning. Oh, man. Sorry about that. What happened? Hi, Tim. The RD sympathy, I like. Yeah, I think he means, I think you're right, but that's okay. Um, oh, the lion. Oh, God, I tell you, I haven't. Oh, man, I got to find out. I'm not sure what teams. I've, I've got we have a very complex team fandom here at our house because of different kinds of. We got to be careful. Put it that way. Um, hey, Smog. How are you? Hi, Donald. Thomas? Let's see. Okay. Um, Good to hear from everyone. Hey, Tony. All right. Um, well, let's get started. I was thinking when I was playing around with this, this is actually trying to build. I don't know if this will turn out to be the perfect one, but it's as good as I can afford. And I sort of got stuck on it. I've been stuck on it for quite a while because the case that I got for it, it was advertised to fit, didn't quite fit. And so I ordered another one from Germany, and they were very nice. And then they told me, well, I couldn't get it until September because of they just ran out. Quite frankly, I think a lot of places this has happened. But in getting this, this is a Soprod A10 movement, and uh, I I don't know who the dial and hands are by, but they're from I think they're Swiss, but I got them as part of a thing that came with that was the same guy selling the movement was also selling the dial and the hands, and so I thought, well, I'll try that. By the way, too, this thing keeps great time. I've got it set right now. That's what. Let me see. Where is it? It's 5 after 4. According to my computer, it's also 5 after 4. This keeps great time, but I've got to keep it in one of these like bell jar kind of cases until I get the rest of the stuff. But anyway, I that was sort of an affordable, ideal one, but I've been thinking a lot about that. Hi, Jack and Joseph. How you guys doing? Um, so let's talk about this. Hi, Watch Monkey. Um, I came up with a number of different things, and I wanted to start with the hairspring. And this morning we were talking about the hairsprings in the harboring too, and I couldn't remember the guy's name or the name of the company is it's called Carl Haas, Haas, and pretty sure it's a German company. It could be Austrian. I'm not sure. It's one of the two. But I took a look at what it's made, what they use to make these, and they had two different components that they talked about. You get one or the other. One was Nivarox, Nivarox dash CT, which is owned by Swatch, so I wasn't sure about that. And the other one is called Nice Band C. Now, both of these have a good deal of iron in terms of their components. Like Nivarox is 54% iron, 38% nickel, 8% chromium, 1% titanium, and 0.2% silicon, plus a couple other barium and one other one in there. Now, the other one is Nispan is nickel 42%, iron 49, chromium 5.3, titanium 2.4, and aluminum is 0.5%. So these components are, my God, they're like really magnetic. So I mean, like, but here, I've never had a problem with this particular watch that has one of those two hairsprings in it have a problem with being magnetized. Um, Now, my other watches that I've never had a magnetizing problem with are my H. Mosers. And this is one of the things that I found that I thought was sort of interesting, what they said about the I guess the alloy that was developed by a company called Precision Engineering that is part of it's a sister company somehow of H. Moser, and I have no idea how that works. Anyway, it's called PE 5000, and this is what they say. So it represents a very interesting alternative to silicon, which is also non-magnetic and shock resistant, with the disadvantage of not allowing any adjustments. Niobium titanium, this is what the Straussmann, it's called the Straussmann hairspring. In contrast, can be adjusted by the watchmaker to optimize the watch's performance if necessary. Precision engineering joins with a few manufacturers capable of producing paramagnetic escapements, a major advantage in the Swiss watch industry, with a new label synonymous with quality and precision. It's called Presynergy. So that's probably of all of the hairsprings, that one I like the best. Now, another one is by a company called Atocalpa, and I couldn't find what the components were, but they made 200,000 of them. And they're also owned by the Sandoz Family Foundation that makes them for Vaucher, which makes the movements for Parmigiani and a lot of Hermes now. But they're a fairly small number, and 200,000 they're making them for someone else. Among them is Tag Heuer. A lot of interesting stuff going on with that. You have, I think some of these companies are ready to jump into silicon, which is to me unfortunate, but we'll see. you know. But anyway, for right now, since I'm not crazy about silicon, and I do like the fact that some hairsprings can be adjusted. The other hairspring that I wouldn't mind having at all is the Parachrome one by Rolex, but Rolex doesn't sell outside of Rolex. It turns out that neither does Richemont. If you're not in the Richemont group, anything that they have in there you don't get. So I guess same with Swatch. Um, but a major part though of apparently of H. Moser's is this Strassmann hairspring. I like them. Okay, let's hear from you guys now. That's my hi Lee, how you doing? How you doing? That's okay. Um, but most of the time, Lee, at the start, everyone is just greeting each other, which is a nice thing to do, I think. Um, uh, According to Bill, come on, and it's not verboten. It's just Hans. It's just something I prefer not to have. Now, you want to have silicon, that's fine. I mean, it's like you know, there's a difference between preference and sort of if I don't like it, it means nobody else can like it. That's not true. Um, who Forbin, hi Forbin, Hoopman or Swatsman? I don't know. I'm not sure what those are, unless you're being a wise guy. Rolex doesn't use silicone hairsprings. No, they don't. They do. Well, they have a couple. They have Saloxi, I think, um, Bruce, that they use in this one women's watch. But a lot of companies, Vacheron Constantin, I know, uh, and then Patek Philippe, and a lot of these have been, when they have these, especially some of the smaller women's watches, they simply use quartz. And so having silicon, the one silicon hairspring, the Saloxi hairspring that Rolex has, that they only use it, as far as I know, in the Pearl Diver. It's not called the Pearl Diver, Pearl Master. Someone told me this morning that they also use it in the 37 millimeter um, Yacht Master too. So okay, for a daily wear and not get magnetized is essential. It's not essential. Okay, silicon's not essential, and I think that's why I like. I mean, most of my watches don't get magnetized, and neither of my H Mosers do. One could say what's essential is that you can adjust your hairsprings. Well, you can't do that with silicone, so throw it out. Let's not get dogmatic about stuff. All right, if you like something, fine. Uh, as watch collectors, I think a lot of us rotate stuff, and it's really funny. My this one um, FP Moser of mine, every now and then it'll get all magnetized. My other one doesn't. Nothing touches, it seems, the resonance watch. So it's got a lot more stuff that could be. Hi Peter. I like it Nephrion. What is Nephrion saying? I tell you, I'm intrigued by the new FC silicon regulating thing organ. I know most people hate it. I don't hate anything. I just know what I like, and I don't dwell on what I don't like or don't prefer, I guess. Watch Monkey, is it normal to change your taste in watches? In the past, everything had to be 42 millimeters plus. Now I'm really getting into 38 to 40 millimeters. No, that's something else. Is that there's a certain point is that who cares? Okay. Some people care very much that you don't have one brand of watch or the other. I don't care. I mean, why should any of us? If, for example, I really like Harbring twos. I think they're great deals. I think they're great watches, but I wouldn't anymore insist that everyone, a real watch collector's got to have a Harbring two. And so, shouldn't do that. Thanks, Lee. Okay, Peter C. If we like spring drive, why not this? Well, if you like spring drive, why not? Yeah, I agree. There's it's coming down to whether you want a quartz regulator or not. And I don't know what kind of adjustments you can do with the spring drive. Maybe you can do some really interesting things that I don't know about. Um, that's all possible. Um, The Watch Monkey, if your watch preferences last more than 4 hours, please see a doctor. That's a good one. Yeah, all of our stuff changes. I mean, is that I think the worst thing we could be as collectors is inflexible, and I include myself. Someone was one of the comments that I was reading this morning said, well, they like Rail Masters, Omega Rail Masters, but they said, well, you wouldn't like it because it has silicon. And the thing is, no, I like Rail Masters. I happen to like Rail Masters. Um, I it just and I like Omegas. The trouble is if you like something else or you like something more, then it comes up that. For example, the only diver that I have is my Easy Diver, and I don't know how many people have Easy Divers or even want one, but I like it and I'm happy with it, and that's what I think everybody should be with all of their watches. Okay, hey Riza, what do you think of the brand Eterna? Um, I did that one video on Eterna, and I think that's an interesting brand. They have some interesting um, movements with them, so I do like it. Um, okay, all right. So the hairsprings on hairsprings. Let me hear your preferences. Some of you like the silicon hairsprings. I like the Straussmann hairsprings. Others like other kind of hairsprings. So, what would you choose? You know, one of the things, there's some very good watchmakers who use Otto Kalpa, and I was surprised. You have some other one. I mean, Vaucher, all of the Vaucher use them, and Tag Heuer's is quite, but they make 200,000, and I think maybe maybe 10,000 are for the Washer and Parmigiani, and the other 190,000 are for Tag Heuer and some other ones. Hi, Mark. Uh, does your diver have a Geneva seal? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's got that. It's got this great movement. It's one of the best movements I have. Is the one by Roger Dubuis. Uh, I'm happy with that. I like Rolex hairsprings, anti-magnetic and adjustable. I think anyways. Yeah, they are, Nefrion. That's one thing I like about Rolex. Rolex has their parachrome hairsprings, and I really like those. They're niobium and chromium. Philippe Dufour is not a fan of silicon at all. I know. Most of the I you have guys like Kari Voutilanen, the Giro and Force, the Groenfeld brothers, and a lot of other guys don't. Armin Strom, on the other hand, uses them uses silicon in some really interesting ways. So, it depends on your top guy. Right now, FP Jorn doesn't, but there was an article about him visiting the firehouse, which is they in San Francisco. They make silicon hairsprings, and he was interested in it. Maybe it's because the maybe some of the other chronometers reigns have problems with the magnetizing like mine do. Mine does. Um, the Groenfeld movements, yeah. I tell you. Well, let's talk about the next thing, okay? All right. So, if I had my choice, instead of making a watch, uh, and one that I can't afford, but I make it in anyway. And so I would want to have a Straussmann hairspring in it. That's the first thing. Now the second thing, what about the your balance wheel? Any kind of things on that? I'll tell you, there's two guys that I would really like a balance wheel from. One is Haji Ahsoka, and I hope I'm saying that right. The balance wheel that he has in his tsunami is just, I really like it. The big balance wheels also in Kari Boot and Lana, I also like. So those are a couple there. Um, Groenfeld movements, yeah. Hey, Francek, how you doing? Thanks. My Barnett is like Serpico at Mo. Need a haircut. Okay. Uh, I think that the Hairspring has a brilliant performance. It doesn't necessarily matter if it's got silicon in it. Yeah, I think that the one that's made out of the PE 5000 is just right. Your Geneva seal smells like salami. You have a Genoa seal. Oh man, Forbin. All right. Do you like micro rotors? Um, Two reasons I like micro rotors, and one reason I don't like them. The two reasons I do like them is that they don't you can see more of the movement because they don't block it like, one of the regular rotors. That's one reason. The other reason I like it is that you can have a thinner watch. Uh, the time here and time elsewhere on my oh god, what is that? Van Cleef and Arpels, they wanted to keep it thin. The one thing I don't like about micro rotors is that you have to have a smaller balance wheel if you're going to use one. Now, in my Vaucheur that I have a 3 hertz Vaucheur with a micro rotor in it, so I guess that's okay. What about luxury band Stout? I From Holland. Oh, I don't know them. That's something Reese I got to find out about. Do you think they use Vaucheur or other bot movements? I don't know. Hi, hater. How about the Ogden Pit balance from Agenhor? Boy, hater. I remember that vaguely. I don't remember much about it though. Um, this morning you mentioned the that neat those neat gears that Agenhor developed with the sort of the spring for all of the teeth when they turn. There's no gap at all. That I think is really neat. But the Agon pit, I saw something about that, and I don't remember too much about it. Um, we may end up with one in our group project. That'd be cool. Uh, Very heavy metal, but skeletonized. And their rotor. One thing speaking about uh, balance wheels, the 1 hertz uh, model that Gronfeld has, that's got a giant balance wheel in it. That'd be sort of cool. Hi, Jay. The perfect watch would deliver electric shock to the owner if he tried to sell it after owning it for less than 1 year. Anti-flipper technology. Um, I'm getting to a point where I really prefer manual wines more, thinner and generally more reliable. I've always liked them. I have in project wise, I'm making two right now. One with the Soprod 810 and the other one with my Vaucheur movement. Both are automatics. The automatic on if I ever get it done. Uh, the next thing I got to do is find a case. Okay. Anything else on rooted rotors? Getting to the point where I really okay, manual wines. All right. Yeah, that's something else too. Is that in putting together the perfect watch? Uh, as far as I can see now, the only two I have is that I want a big balance wheel, and I guess if the agent pit one, Ogden pit one is a big one, I'd like it. Um, but I think I would take the one by Jaime Ahsoka. That would be my favorite balance wheel. Okay, Laurent Ferrier movements. They have a nice aesthetic to them. Yeah, they do. They're good movements. Um, Hi, Harry. I like a minute repeater, huh? they're a little complex. I can't hear them anyway, but I sort of think they're cool. Some of my favorites are especially the Micro-rotor and the Traveler. Thoughts on the ETA 7001? Oh boy. The 7001, um, one of the early watches I got had snuck in a 7001 and what was it? The, oh, I can't remember the name of it's got a, Ella Raw. It was an Ella Raw. And it was about 40 millimeters Ella Raw, really a nice one. And they had some phony baloney name for the movement. They called it something or other 5101 or something like that. But it was a Pazoo slash ETA 7001. Um, I I can't say a whole lot about it. It's one of the hand wound ones they have now coming out of ETA. The Unitas 7000 or 60, what was it, 64, 98, 97. Now those I really like mainly because they're big enough to work with. What I think, I'm not positive. We've been trying to figure out in this that shape movement, the Jacquet 736. A lot of people who've seen that seem to think that Jacquet took a 7001 and then put it into a shaped base. Could be, I don't know for sure. Ultra thin, yeah, the good thing about it. It's ultra thin. That's the other thing too. The generally good thing about there are two good things I like about hand wound. First of all, they are thinner. You don't have to put that rotor, or you don't have to push everything out of the way with a micro rotor, and so you can have a larger balance in there. Most of the top watchmakers' top watches are also hand wound. I was going through the chronometers in the Grand Prix, and most of them were hand wound. The ones who were winning anyway. Um, okay, yeah, Nomos used to use it. Watch Monkey. They called it the Alpha, I think. What they did was that what Nomos did was really interesting. Uh, when they started making them themselves, and they basically took a 7001, put it in their Alpha, and they were honest enough and had enough integrity not to say it was in-house. And then they came out with their DUW series. I don't know if they still have the Alpha anymore, but yeah, they did use it for that. Do you believe in the Brigade Type 21, or there'll be one waiting for me in the afterlife? Riz, I have it on good authority. There's one waiting for you in the afterlife, so no sweat. But you can't buy silicon in the meantime. I have a recently acquired a tiny movement, Juvena caliber 365, about 8 millimeters diameter. Terrible to work on, no kidding. I've got a what I did. I got a couple movements. They're little bitty movements, and they're set up for regulators. And so all of the points, each one of them has 3 points on it, but they're pretty small, and they're, like you said, they're a pain in the neck to work on. Okay, up, frying pan time. My time is up, guys. Anyway, well, I think it's important for us to kick around some of these things, so at least we have some idea of what's going on in our watches. And like I said, people could I could care less what they have in their watches if they like it. They can have a hamster on a running wheel for all I care. Uh, as long as it floats their boat. Who cares? Okay, guys. Any update on H. Moser's 10-day power reserve movement? Boy, I don't know. Mine is I got an 8-day, and that thing works beautifully. Hi, Jay. Think a very thick movement as convenient. Maybe I'm lazy and want to make a movement. You want to make a movement, Jay. You want to make a movement. Okay, you make a watch. I would definitely suggest the 6498 or 97 because they're nice and big and they're easier to work on. Hey, Peter, glad to have you. Okay, guys, remember, I don't have my mask. I keep my mask in my car now because then I'll never forget it. I also have some backups there too. So stay safe and take care of yourself. Monday, I've got a very interesting watch. I think you guys are gonna like. It's one that you may have vaguely heard about, but I knew about it, but I sort of rediscovered it in a way that I think you're gonna like. Take care, everybody. Be safe.